Welcome back to Season 8 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and Mr. Evan Valentine.
Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Kofi, what was your album this morning? What were you listening to?
What? It was just random stuff I was just playing. I think it was The Weeknd and J. Cole were two songs. Yeah. Just a little getting my setup right music. But which is funny because I couldn't see you guys. I didn't even know anybody else was on the stream. I was kind of wondering. I was like, where is everybody? But all right. That's enough about behind the scenes. Let's get down to business. There's so much to do, as you can see from the title of this episode. This is Peak Geek TV Part 3. We have done this every time we have this wonderful convergence of geek-themed TV shows that we keep having every now and again. We do a thing that we call Peak Geek TV. So I think this started like last year. It was like Halo, Shogun. There's a bunch of stuff on, but it kept happening, and this might be the biggest one of all. So crazy. We are going to have to do a lot of breakdown on a lot of TV show, but we're going to get right to it. It's going to be an unusual show because we have so much TV to talk, so much to unpack that we need to kind of get into it. But we did have one, at least big trailer we thought we should talk about first. So take it away, Matt.
Yeah, man, we're going to have a new special presentation. And these things have established a pretty good track record. And I think from this trailer, the Punisher One Last Kill looks to be following in those footsteps. This is gritty Frank Castle at his finest. We are dipping back into the origin story. We're pulling on the heartstrings there, the tragedy of it all, and we're getting back to what is kind of true Punisher here. And John Berthal is back. He is having quite the time, right? Between between all the Daredevil stuff and showing up in Brand New Day, and now we got his special presentation. It is quite the Punisher time. I think this is pretty much the peak Punisher in years. This trailer hits me. I mean, if anyone knows, Frank Castle's backstory, and also watch the original series, how tragic his origin story is, and we are very much going to be dipping back into that for this, and him wrestling with all those demons. This also looks to be not pulling any punches, so neither did the original Punisher series. This seems to be following in those footsteps, so anyone worried that they would be taming that down for this new Disney era, I feel like can rest assured that's not the case. But this looks good, man. What do you guys think?
I liked it for the vibes. It feels like it's very much in the kind of stylistic,
very vibey,
the same stylistic kind of take as the advertisements for Daredevil Born Again season 2, which we're about to get to, but I'm enjoying. So I'm hoping it's good, but it doesn't tell me why. And this is where the Punisher TV series, the Netflix series, got kind of lost. Is like, this can easily be a deep character piece about Frank, but like you need something solid on the outside. Like the mission on the outside has to be compelling. Otherwise, it's just kind of Frank hallucinating, then shooting up random faceless bad guys, right? And you begin to lose track of who's getting shot and why, and it's just him screaming a lot, and like, yeah, it can get like that. So I want to make sure, because I know from the first photo we did that this is going to be heavily steeped in like comic book lore. The Ganucci crime family is from one of the best, I think, Punisher stories of all time. Welcome back, Frank, which, One Last Kill seems like it could be doing the reverse of. That was a story about Frank Castle going back to normal, I think, after all the Angel crap they had put him through in the late 90s. And Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon were like, yeah, no, we're just going to get back to, Psycho, Frank Castle, Punisher, And so I think this is doing the opposite. I think this is like the end of the Netflix, the growling, Frank Castle, who's just murder, kill. And then after this, by the time we see him in Brand New Day, it'll be a slightly different Frank Castle. It'll be more the one we saw in Civil War, right? Like the special forces. I'm gonna take on superheroes and fight on those levels. Kind of Frank Castle, maybe a little bit softer, a little bit more reformed anti-hero. Cool. I'm cool with it. This trailer was vibey. This looks like Man on Fire, 2026, but whatever. I just want to know what the actual, because I think what Ennis and Dylan did very well is take that psycho killer kind of action story, but they knew how to heighten it the right way to make it a comic book level kind of experience, right? Like there's gangsters getting eaten by polar bears. There's like, the Russian, that whole thing, which is the only redeeming sequence of the Thomas Jane Punishers, that they do the Russian thing and that whole thing. But it's absurd and over the top, like Ennis and Dylan are. But it with Frank Castle, and it made Frank Castle kind of larger than life as a psychopath and like, this nuts kind of wild faced, kind of killer. But yeah. So I hope this is a good kind of bridge between the end of the Punisher Netflix era and us getting a Punisher proper reset for the MCU. I'm going to be there. So what else is there to say?
I feel like, you said everything beautifully. And actually something that I didn't think about, which is kind of spot on. I'm just excited to see Jon Bernthal back. I love him so much. I was a big Walking Dead fan, so he will always be Shane to me. And I love him in this role. I feel like he was casted so perfectly. I love that we're still getting these people. I'm loving that we still have these actors all these years later playing our favorite roles. Obviously, like the DC stuff is all changing and all of our favorite actors have been kind of replaced into the roles of the heroes that we liked them as. Superman. No, I'm sorry. But it's really nice that, Marvel is still continuing on with these actors who I think nailed the roles perfectly. And I love him. I love him, this actor. And this is not my type of superhero. And this is not the type of like superhero content I like. However, I'm excited about it because I've loved Daredevil Born Again so much. And I feel like the MCU, I just feel like Marvel's really doing a good job of these types of stories. Like maybe they're not really crushing the space stuff or the Doctor Strange stuff right now. So I'm excited to sink my teeth into this, and I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think that I think Bernthal has earned his places. It's so tough to be like, who's the best Punisher? But I would say that I think like Jon Bernthal is, to this day, my favorite scene from the MCU in general is just Bernthal's monologue in the graveyard from Daredevil season 2. And I think that he has like created this energy for Frank Castle that has worked very well. Much like Kofi mentioned, it seems like elements from Welcome Back Frank are going to be incorporated into this. At least Ma Nucci, who is just like, she's a cartoon villain. So it would be interesting to see like if they play her up like that. It would be wild if she's eaten by polar bears. Like she has her limbs eaten by polar bears in this. I don't think they'll go that route, but we'll see. I think like this is also going to be what I feel an effective bridge between Daredevil Born Again and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Whether or not we'll see Peter, I think it would be super cool. Like, why not just have Peter appear? Maybe there's like Sony rights or whatever, but like, I think it would be super cool if like Spider-Man actually makes an appearance at the end, just to kind of be like, it immediately transitions from the TV series to the movie verse and everything. I think that would be super neat. But also, I think this will just work as a very good character study. I think like there's so much to kind of explore with Frank. While I wish this was like a full-blown season, I'll take whatever I can get. So I'm looking forward. I think like Marvel really has something cool on its hands when it comes to these specials. Like I'm still waiting for Werewolf by Night to come back because I loved Werewolf by Night so much, but it just kind of gives them the opportunity to do like fresh stuff. I hope that like this continues to be a regular occurrence where they're able to kind of focus on, a lot of characters like the Punisher with like an hour-long special if they're not able to get their own television series or season rather.
I'm actually of the opinion that the Punisher is a character who is perfect for this. Like with the Punisher, you want to get in, you want to do something, you want to get out. And I think sometimes even the movies can drag on a little bit. Like you want to, a feature is good for the Punisher. A solid mission he's on that relates back to Frank in some way. And like, yeah, let's get in, put in a body count and get out. Like, let's not belay the point too long. So I'm down with these. And yeah, I'm glad they're starting to use these more because yeah, these are good. Just like little snapshots of good stuff we can get. Also, we're getting more Marvel Zombies. So yay.
Yay.
All right.
Yay. Yeah,
So,
that was really good.
That's it. That's all we're doing for news today. We don't have time for news today. We got too much to do.
There's 18 million things that happen.
Yeah. So let's get to peak Geek TV 3, The Litness. So we had a bunch of shows, a movie come out this week. It's hectic. It's hectic. Let's just start at the top. We're going to go in order of what premiered this week. So the week began with a new piece of Star Wars content, Maul, Shadow Lord. Did I put any trailers in here?
I don't think so.
Great. Did a great job. Great job.
Just everybody pretend. Everybody mimic.
Was a syndicate leader.
There we go.
Oh, Rich is thank God. Rich is on it. Rich is on that Star Wars. Yeah, I'm gonna stall and add trailers to this, but
with a
yeah,
laser sword.
Such a great job planning. I was so proud of myself. I turned in this thing. I did everything. All right, but yeah.
The Empire tried to kill me.
Maul
Their betrayal demands consequence.
Yeah.
And that consequence requires
I'm just so happy to hear Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Can we just say
I will always love Sam Witwer. Because like aside from like being a big D&D nerd, I think like I always love that story where he talks about being cast for those who don't know, Sam Witwer was
I love that interview.
He was the voice actor / motion. I believe he did mocap too, but I mean his face was the Star Wars Force Unleashed where he played Star Killer.
Yeah, it was him.
It was him. He did that story for those who don't know. He has a story where he talks about how he was cast and they were asking him, well, could you like reenact something where you are pretending to meditate as a Sith? And he's like very not meditating and he's like smashing together parts. And they're like, well, why are you doing it like that? And he gives this long explanation as to how a Sith would meditate. And he just completely blew them away. And that's why he was cast. So long story short, like this guy is so perfect for Maul in general. He's so like, he loves this stuff. And it's always great seeing people cast into roles that like they clearly have a passion for.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Witwer, I don't think anybody's debating that part of this. He is the man. He kind of owns this character now. So much so that even when they do Maul in live action in Solo, it's Ray Park doing the acting, but it's Sam Witwer's voice just to keep the continuity there.
Really? Yeah. I didn't realize that actually.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if you go back and watch that scene from Solo, yeah. It's a double performance.
Wow.
Because,
rewatch that thing.
Everybody should be rewatching Solo for a lot of reasons. But, yeah, it is, he's so iconic. Solo, yeah. He's taken over this character now so that, he gave Maul literally his voice and soul where we got, like, none of that in the first film. So, this was surprisingly good for me. This was it is everything I thought it would be. It's dark. It's the closest we've gotten yet to having that Star Wars Underworld series that would be set in the darker parts of the Star Wars universe. It also has Maul, who is this almost like slasher killer kind of villain, but also kind of charismatic enough that we want to follow him. And you're always oddly kind of rooting for Maul in a way, which is the trick I think that they pull off with his characterization. but it was really kind of interesting and compelling. The first one, I like this idea of, and more so, it just, even at this point, I like a Dave Filoni animated Star Wars series. Like that's not hard. What I thought was interesting for me in this was the fact that I'm seeing, yes, you can, just like a Marvel special presentation or something, there are pockets of Star Wars you can focus on that are good. Like Maul's whole life has been done, literally, except for this chapter, which is like what happened after the Clone Wars ended. And this is just a sequel to Clone Wars. It's right after the final season and the final episode where Maul and Ahsoka get off the ship and escape Order 66. We didn't know what happened to him. Until he started surfacing in Solo as a crime lord again. And now we're filling in those gaps. And that's an exciting story to tell with a character that we want to follow. And it's like, this is the no-brainer of Star Wars these days. It's like, yes, do this. And like, I'm already in. We get a new Jedi. We get several new Jedi characters, some intrigue, some like backstory for the lore heads, the whole thing about him and Crimson Dawn and this, that, and the other. It was just exciting. And yeah, and they had good kind of battle sequences. So I'm in. This is an easy one.
Yeah, I also agree with Brian, by the way. We do need a Vader. How have we not had a Vader animated project yet, really? This is fantastic. Maul is it's so crazy to see like where that character has gone from his debut of literally getting chopped in half,
having no dialogue,
having no.
He's right up there with Urkel, man. Like,
yeah, like
people who were not supposed to really be around, and then just kind of took over.
It's crazy, and then now just seeing him, and it's awesome. I love anytime he is on screen. He's fantastic, and the action always looks great. I love this. And it actually makes me sad though, because I didn't really realize that this is it. Like, this is really the only time that's left to really explore there. I mean, they can always do other stuff in other parts of time, I guess. But that is kind of sad because I love this character. And it's so good. So yeah, digging this.
But so like maybe people more versed in like current Star Wars can fill me in. But like, is Maul still technically alive in like that's something I know he survived being cut in half and he had like robot legs or whatever. Although that was in the extended universe, so I'm not know. Chat, let me know as well because I'm not.
Oh,
sure.
Did you not watch Clone Wars?
No, I didn't.
Holy crap! Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, that's Clone Wars. Clone Wars has been one of those blind spots for me that I haven't had the chance to kind of watch.
There's so much in that show. Yeah. There's a whole season about, they do the whole thing that where you find Maul like at where he's just confused and half dead and he doesn't know what's going on. And he's found by the Night Sisters, and so they take him back to Dathomir and they put him in the waters and they use the magic to restore him. And so, like, because he is from Dathomir, and the other half of Dathomir are the witches of the Night Sisters. So they use the magic, they bring him back, and because he's like a chosen one of Dathomir, of their people or whatever it is that they look at him as. And so then he recruits his brother, who's this huge dude, and they build a whole crime empire on Mandalore and convert Mandalorian hardliners, the Death Watch, into there. And he subjugates the Hutts, the Pikes. There's a whole season about how he schemes around during the Clone Wars and gets like all these criminal people into a thing called Shadow Collective, which was his own thing. And he was trying to take out Sidious, but Sidious finds out. And that's one of the best episodes. If you don't watch any other episode of Clone Wars, you got to watch the episode where Darth Sidious finally finds out what Maul's doing and is just like, oh, hell no. Gets up on Coruscant, gets up, walks out of the Senate, throws on his robes, takes a secret ship all the way to Mandalore, walks off the ship, kills everybody who's in his way, goes straight to the throne room and like whips Maul's behind and his brother's behind. And
I gotta watch that.
And yokes him out of there. And had him locked up for a while, which was covered in like books and comics about how he tortured the living crap out of him. But Maul escaped, went back to Mandalore, kind of held on to it. And then at the end of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, the Night Owls, and some clone soldiers went over to Mandalore and were like, yo, enough of you, and tossed his behind out of there and arrested him. But on the way back, like their whole clone army turned on them on Order 66. And that's where Ahsoka had to run and Maul ran too because they had to escape together. And that was that. So you've been caught up on the Clone Wars. But yeah, you got to watch some of those stuff. That arc is
awesome.
Great. Yeah, that whole season, I think it's like season 4. That whole arc with Maul is crazy. Like, yeah, he takes over, like he secretly schemes on everybody past Anakin and Obi-Wan and everybody and just like builds his own criminal empire. So this is what this series is about. Because after he lost his empire, he's now pissed at all the people who didn't hold it down for him. And so now as the empire is rising, he's back and being like, yo, yeah, it ain't over. Like, I'm building another one, and all of you who didn't hold it down, like, you're getting taken out. And so, yeah, there you go. That's what they pay me for, by the way, for this Star Wars stuff.
Thank you, Kofi.
You're welcome. I couldn't believe you hadn't seen Clone Wars.
No, that's one of the only things that's a big blind spot for me. And it's funny because I have read like a ton of the extended universe. Like when I way back when I read this amazing Star Wars series called Legacy of the Force, that was like an extended universe novel series, but I haven't seen Clone Wars yet. So that's like a major thing that I need to like rectify. But there's too much media to consume.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's tough to carve out a time for it.
For anybody who's wondering or has trouble with Star Wars animation, and Clone Wars is dense, there are some filler arcs that'll drain you. Just go, and there's so many guides to people. Like I think you can even do it by character. Be like, here's how you watch Maul's arcs in Clone Wars, and they'll give you like a little guide to it. But no, there's some classic stuff that happens in there, and some of the best duels you'll ever see. But Maul, his brother Savage Opress versus Sidious is like one of the top 10 Star Wars duels of all time. But all right. So this show is easy. We liked it. Yeah. And it was kind of an easy sell for all of us. Even Janelle, did you say anything about our?
Yeah, I didn't, but I'm nodding, and like everything that's been said is correct. And even I was into it, and the animation is beautiful and the story is exciting. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And they have I like the Jedi kind of the temptation story. I like that. I like this idea of what if you're a Jedi now and you are in this time, and if Maul, who can be charismatic as we saw in Rebels when he almost turned Ezra, like, and he has that way of doing the Sith thing that is very good, of making it seem like his perspective is correct. Like he starts immediately grooming her in like the second episode. He's like, you're just mistaken, you're not looking at things correctly. Like that story of this Jedi, and because this is a time where it would be hardest to kind of hold on to those principles, right? And like looking for an ally or somebody who can understand, you could see the temptation there. So I want to see that story as well. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about Daredevil.
Woo! That's the correct response to this episode of Daredevil.
Daredevil Born Again. So let's talk about it. We had a lot go down in this episode, and people are calling it one of the best of the show, even the Netflix show. I got to go handle something real quick. You guys take it away. What did you think from the very first scene?
This is for me. I'll start it off. But for me, for throughout the Daredevil, throughout the original Netflix and Born Again, I always kind of thought, I was like, I believe his name's like Wilson Bethel, the guy who plays Bullseye. I always thought like he's a good pick for Bullseye, but I was always waiting for him to like be crazier, if that makes sense. Like I've loved comic book Bullseye for the longest time. He's like an amazing villain, and I always kind of felt like he's good in the television series, but he's not like that same level of bonkers. But for this episode, this is the first one where this is one of my favorite episodes of both Netflix and Born Again. I think like this just works exceptionally well. I think like this second season, and I think that like I really did dig the first season of Born Again, but I could also understand a lot of the complaints that people had. Whereas you could feel that it was two separate shows that were kind of merged together. There was the original like plan for Born Again, and then there was like this new, they were kind of going a little darker. They were going a little more serious. They were kind of introducing characters that weren't part of the original plan. But this second season has worked so well in terms of like, we know what we're doing. We're going to immediately move to this. And man, I love seeing Bullseye like work in terms of like just the diner scene. You could see it playing in the trailer. It was just amazing. I love the exchange he has with the guy where he's like, having a dog there is unsanitary. And that got such a big laugh for me. I thought that was amazing. But everything else about this episode worked for me. I think it's kind of a little ridiculous that Wilson Fisk is like boxing, but hey, man, I'm not going to knock it. I thought it was like a very cool fight. And
you think that's
like,
ridiculous when we have a president who was a WWE?
I was saying there's a lot of parallels there. There's certainly parallels. There has been a lot of parallels throughout the second season. I think that like, especially like the cliffhanger of like, I won't say like what happens at the end of it, but it is a very good crap is the crap has hit the fan kind of thing that I thought was very cool. This like A+. I think that this episode was like, there's one scene before I headed off. There's one scene in particular that I absolutely loved, which was Bullseye being like, "I'm one of the good guys now," and Charlie Cox's acting where he's like trying to process that statement is so good. I thought like it's just like it's a split second where he's like, what? Like, he's trying to come to.
He's like laughing. He's actually laughing.
He's like laughing, but it's also
like,
the guy who killed his.
Oh my god,
friend.
I can't. Yeah, I know, but he's like, I can't. That's why Charlie Cox is so good, because he does the Matt Murdock. All my worlds are colliding at once. My brain can barely process this as a Catholic, as a lawyer, as a guy who wants to beat the living crap out of you all at once. Like type of thing. And that's that moment where he's just like, the compassionate lawyer in him wants to be like, buddy, you are crazy. I want to explain to you how crazy you are. And then he's just like, I know you. I'm not going to bother. I just want to punch you in the face. Like, and who cares what even you're saying right now? And then, yeah, you're right. I noticed that moment too. And that is those little things that Charlie Cox does where he makes Daredevil like an actual person, like who's not just like this faceless superhero. It's just like,
Charlie Cox really should be in the running for like well, I don't think I'd necessarily put him on the same level as like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. I do think that he's up there. He should definitely he brought this character to life. I think
I'd agree with that. I have no problem putting him in that discussion of like
well, he's
like actors that have become either synonymous or like, oh, hey, you've embodied the character so much that like I think of Daredevil, like I do actually think of him when I think of Daredevil now, even in the comics. So like
I agree.
I think he's there.
Yeah, no, I think Charlie Cox again the thing is he's a straight man, and let me finish my thought, land here. If you know anything about like performance ensembles, pause. Anything about performance ensembles, especially comedic or anything or anything that has to do with like good and evil and villains, like there's a straight man who's like very even keeled and kind of normal, and then there's always a more dynamic, zany personality or personalities around the straight man that he has to bounce off of. So in this dynamic, like D'Onofrio gets to be Wilson Fisk, he gets to be crazy, over the top. Bethel gets to be Bullseye. He gets to be kind of nuts. Frank Castle gets to howl and growl and jump and everything. But Matt Murdock's supposed to be like the sane person in between all those things. And Cox does such a good job of doing it. When you see his face, he's being like very even keeled and tempered and stuff. But whenever he gets to be like crazy and zany and over the top, he's always in the mask. So it's kind of like throwing you. But he does a great job as Daredevil when he's fighting and he's just out there and he's losing it and he's out of breath and he's just always just like the breathing. And he's just like, or he's just like furious and losing his mind and pounding somebody's face in.
I beat you.
Yeah, so he does that stuff, but we just don't see his face doing it. So we don't see Charlie Cox like, like we're always watching Daredevil. They need to give him one scene out of the mask to just like go nuts in. But he does a fantastic job at this. Like, all the little ticks, all the little subtleties from the convincingly being blind to just, like little moments when he's trying to interact with other people where he can't quite get his emotions together and he just has a breakdown because he does it a lot. He does it like when he's mad or sad or trying to talk. There's like sometimes he's trying to give speeches and he can't get through it because he just gets overwhelmed or something. But he's really good at it. He just doesn't have to do his things as big as Downey, who gets to be over the top and chew scenery for a living. And Cox has just been more subtle. But like you said, you now think of him and you're like, no, that dude's Daredevil. Like when I think of Daredevil, you're like, you can hear his voice all the time. So, and the dude's Irish, so he's really acting his hands off over there. Like, yeah. He is thick Irish, because I remember from Boardwalk Empire, and I was like, oh, yeah, this dude, he was a completely different kind of character. Yeah, but he deserves way more credit. But hey, he's been getting jobs now, like a top iconic job for a decade. I think as an actor, you don't need to be sung from the rafters if you're getting steady work and a paycheck. So shout out to Charlie Cox. But this episode wasn't, I agree with the hype. This episode is the top rated episode of Daredevil, next to the season 3 finale, A New Napkin. I wrote up that piece. And as Evan alluded to, I kind of said why this is probably so high rated is it is in very much a sequel to that season 3 finale. Like if you took out all the other things of Born Again and you just had a 8 months later and then this episode, like it would still make a lot of sense compared to where season 3 ended, because the conflicts are, just to give you context, if you don't remember, season 3 ended with the finale of Daredevil trying to intercept Bullseye to tell him that Kingpin was manipulating him. Don't go over there. Don't get killed. Him and Vanessa have both been playing with you. Vanessa had you kill that FBI agent, and then Kingpin killed your girlfriend. And like, then they both, but of course they fight. Bullseye doesn't want to listen. They go to Fisk's apartment. They have that 3-way brutal fight where Fisk paralyzes, Bullseye, and Matt nearly beats him to death. But he protects Vanessa and says, don't throw me in jail instead. And that's the end of the show, right? So, yeah, pick up with this episode. And it's like, what do we have again? It's like Bullseye's out there doing something. Matt wants to stop him or get ahead of him and save him, even though he hates him. Bullseye doesn't want to listen, wants to go take out Fisk. Fisk is ready for it and wants to do this, except it plays out differently in this one. So it is very much the spiritual sequel to that Daredevil Netflix. But it's done in a way that this is the first time I think we're getting the full, what if this is Netflix Daredevil, but just in the MCU with that scope and with that scale. So in Netflix, that Bullseye diner scene would have been grounded and gritty, right? In this, we can just pick up forks and start throwing them and bouncing them and doing the comic book stuff.
Yay!
Like we can get it. Everything about this is a little bit more heightened. Like Fisk and the boxing and the slow-mo and the cinematography. It's all very heightened. It's all very comic book. This feels like it's in a comic book world. It's still violent. It's still bloody. It's still all those things. But it's just, we don't have to explain how or have a tracking shot of showing you the realistic way Bullseye bounced this fork. It's just Bullseye throws some stuff, people start dying. We're cool. And they found that balance in this episode, and they had it, but they have the Netflix thing where all the character interactions are rich. Everybody in this episode has an arc, has something at stake, has something. Even Buck has something going on in this episode. And it's just like, and it plays out in a very edgy, like I was on the edge of my seat for that whole third act boxing match sequence. And even when at the end, you're like, and you're like, and just like some haunting imagery at the end of that, and just
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. But the scary thing about it is that last just bellow of rage, and like Evan said, like that is now terrifying. Like what happens now? Like and so we're here. I don't know what the complaints are going to be now. We did it. We steered the ship, right? This is as close of an example as I can give anybody to of having Netflix Daredevil in the MCU at the best of Netflix Daredevil in the MCU. Here it is. Yeah, that's it for me.
100%.
Billy Joel, I will never hear that Billy Joel, New York State of Mind the same way again. And it was crazy because people were like, they gave away that scene early. Oh my God, they spoiled it. And it was just like, oh, they had more in the tuck. Don't worry. Because that apartment.
Okay. Also, no, I'm not getting into that discussion because I've been seeing a lot of that lately. I don't know. There's a lot of discourse about like, why are we dropping that in the trailer, or why are we putting that out here? And it's like, oh my gosh, it doesn't freaking matter.
I missed
fine.
this. What is this?
There's just a lot of discourse online I've seen like the last couple of weeks, especially about like why we're dropping things. I mean, you could say the Star Fox thing was one of those things. Like all this discussion has been about shows dropping things in trailers, dropping clips, putting things out there. And it's just like, I don't know. None of that bothers me. It's like, I just feel like sometimes the internet gets itself worked up over absolutely nothing. I feel like just because we saw they released that clip doesn't mean anything. It's still awesome, and it's still in the damn show, and only a fraction of the people actually saw it online. It's a very small, very vocal minority when it comes to the internet. So like a lot of people didn't see that thing. So it had the same impact it would. Like, I don't know, just get over it. I have no tolerance. I have no patience right now for like a lot of this crap. And so I've seen a lot of that over the last like couple of weeks, and it annoys me. Anyway, there you go. There's my soapbox.
I got no patience. Daredevil, get in here and just rock.
But yeah, it's dope. It's awesome.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. This was a great episode. We can't wait for it to go down. Oh, I'm getting all kinds of messages, man. What is today about?
Are you good? Are you good?
Yeah, just my family. I don't know why people know I pod now, and yet like everybody wants to figure everything out while I'm trying to live pod. It's amazing, and we don't get enough credit. We've done 8 years of this, but you know, shout out to all the pods getting all the money. You know,
let's go.
We work 10 times as hard for 10 times less. All right, here we go. We do it for the love. Invincible. Let's go. Yo, I got mad beef with you Invincible comic readers. You guys are just going straight up BS. Like y'all are just laughing. Y'all are just like sitting back there laughing right now and just nodding. You're like, this is what I've been waiting for. 4 seasons. But yeah, this
drag, baby.
This is not just to go down, is it?
Take a night off.
This show, every time I think I'm just getting like a relaxed character show, like character episode or something.
That's not gonna happen.
But there were moments. But that's the thing. Like these episodes are like 45 minutes, and you think like, oh, that's short. But then like, there's like 2 episodes in here. So like, yeah, I'm like, oh, look at this, the Grayson boys just hanging out, bonding like this.
See?
And then all of a sudden it just cuts, and it's just like, yo, what's that up in the sky?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's that? It's like war for your survival on a planet. And Invincible is very good, unlike a lot of superhero shows, of not forecasting, or even horror movies for that matter, of not forecasting the moment when things are going to get really scary and drastic. Like it just happens. It just is all of a sudden like you're in it and there's no way but through it. And people are going to get hurt. People are going to get dead. And it's like, yeah, Thrag and the entire like mothership leadership is like over this planet. And they're like, you know, why don't we just go there and kill those guys? It's like, okay, you know, we're, but yeah,
it's a sound strategy.
Yeah, it's a sound strategy, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, there are no breaks anymore. Like it's just gas, and like where we leave this episode is just like, yeah, let's go into the hardest scary place. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess, but yeah, this is becoming my favorite adult animated series. Like it really is. And like the way from the voice cast to the way it has built up the characters and the relationships to like you caring and all of that. Like I actually cared about Omni-Man being a good dad and trying to, you know, get back good with his sons. But I care more about Battle Beast. I mean, Battle Beast is the key to all of this.
Dude. And like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that thing again. Oh, look at that! Wait, oh,
that's I got this in 2015 from Ryan Otley, commission of Battle Beast. I got it for like, and now it goes. This is worth thousands of dollars.
Sell it.
I will. No, I'll never sell it.
Sell it. Hey, I'm already being told which is actually pretty good advice to sell my K-pop Demon Hunter McDonald's cards. Okay, that I have collected. I bought way. We have.
Oh,
bought
I didn't
way too
realize
many-
those came with cards.
We have bought way too many K-pop Demon Hunter meals at McDonald's just to get cards. Also, the sauce is dope. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is sell it at some point in time down the road. Someone look out for Evan's artwork. But I was gonna do that thing that Kofi hates, which is like tease what's coming next is bonkers. But I feel like it really is bonkers. I love the show. Show's awesome. Invincible is just on a tear. And I will say that like Omni-Man sucks as a father. He's a terrible father. My God.
He's no Goku. He's there.
He's gosh. I mean, he makes Reed Richards look competent. You know what I mean? Like it's just terrible. It's terrible. Fatherhood gets a real bad rap in these superhero shows. I'm hoping maybe some other show. There needs to be a comic series or superhero series where it's literally just like, hey, the dad showed up for once. Let's just get something. Let's just get something out there. It'd be nice.
I feel that Omni-Man is spiritually a black dad. He was raised by a generation of parents that not only you saw what his parents did to him, right? They were willing, so he's like a softer parent by comparison. I know he's given the same kind of speeches I give to my son. You would have never survived in your grandparents' house. You understand? You would have never made it.
This like, man,
you think I'm bad?
Beat his son to a bloody pulp at one point in time.
Look how he handled. But that's one thing I did like is like this show is very subtle, and there's things they're not doing in the comic, obviously, because it's animation. But like that was a big character thing for me. Is like when he starts training Oliver this time, like you see the way he's so soft handling him. Like when they first start, he just dodges, and he kind of lets him know, like, no, you're not ready yet. See, you need to train. When he did that with Mark, he just like cracked the living crap out of Mark, and then just was like, "You're weak and get up." Like, and so
our bar is supremely low.
I thought that was the kind of like good point of this episode was just like showing that, yeah, he really has like changed. Even Oliver getting it through to him and being like, "Don't kill this thing. Like, we can use it, the eggs and all that, and that whole kind of thing they were doing there." I thought this was a good episode to show how Nolan has kind of like grown and changed and is actually different now and is like trying to do things differently. And so I was like actually like, oh, that was good because that was like it was very subtle, but like I said, just the movements of him training the kid and like being so much softer with Oliver and like not being that hardline Viltrumite guy was interesting. It was also so good to see Peter Cullen get out there and just throw down and just start beating people up.
I love Peter Cullen's voice. It'll be such a shame when he's gone because man, he's just such a good voice actor.
I always just have expected to say Autobots roll out.
Yeah, I keep waiting for that.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who he plays. I just want him to say Autobots
roll out,
roll out,
save the universe. He's the voice of leadership for my generation. When I think of all great leaders, see, it's either him and Idris Elba. You know, it's one of the two. Canceling the apocalypse.
I love it when Kofi does his impersonations. It's like the best part of the show.
That's Man at Arms they're talking about.
You keep saying that. I think you know that Idris Elba. I've been trying to just let that go. You know that that's not Idris Elba, right?
What are you talking about?
In He-Man?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
That is Idris. Yeah, that is Idris Elba.
I let it go last time because I said another person's name.
Totally
but yes, it is.
That is him.
Oh shit! I am so wrong.
Kofi's over there Googling.
Edit this part out. Edit this part out.
Cut it. Cut this part out.
Cut it.
I will say back to Invincible. I love the post-credit scene. It's one of my favorite post-credit scenes of all time.
My God.
I was dying. I was laughing so hard when it just. I won't spoil it, but it's for folks out there who haven't seen the episode yet. This is not. Do not miss. Do not miss this post-credit scene. It made me laugh very, very hard. Yeah, I really dug as a hated comic book reader. I I thought this episode was really fantastic in terms of kind of splitting the difference between, Mark's recuperation and the attack on the coalition of planets. I thought that it worked exceptionally well. It just continuing the trend of being absolutely brutal, while having a lot of really good emotional scenes, and without, for those who have not read the comics but are currently watching the show, man, does the rest of the season have some stuff. Me and Matt will just be watching from the sidelines, watching to see the reactions of the Viltrumite War. It only goes more crazy from here. So yeah, looking forward to that.
All right. Thank you. From the Invincible comic readers, this is this week's If You Know the Comics, It's Going to Get Crazy. All right. We're going to take a break because we've been doing this for a long time. When we come back, we got to talk about The Boys and some movies you can check out on streaming and some comics that Matt made us read to haunt our souls. All right. We will be right back. Da boys. That's it. That's the tweet. That's the pod. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. So, season 5. This is it. We have been doing this pod since The Boys has been around. So, yeah. It's time to talk about This Is the End. My only friend, the end. All right, Billy Butcher. All bets are off. Homelander. It's all going down. First 2 episodes. What did you guys think? I thought, I'll be honest. I thought The Boys, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a pretty good start to the end of the season. I wasn't like all that impressed or hyped by the first big character death we got. I didn't think it was as epic or grand as it should be. It was a nice kind of full circle moment. If you know what it was, if you can put those pieces together, to show again kind of character evolution and change. But yeah, I don't think anything in these first 2 episodes shocked me so much to make me be like Invincible or Daredevil this week. I wasn't on the edge of my seat with The Boys where I was like, oh my God, this is so intense. I think it's good that this is the last season. I think it's good that I think we've run out of a lot of steam here. And this is now just about kind of the fun of just, like I said, it's important. I think we learn as we go along that final seasons are just the cast and them doing it for the fans mostly. But the steam is usually already gone. To put this in Stephen King terms, the steam is usually pretty gone already by the time we get to a final season. I have a little bit of that kind of coming into this in a lot of places. And also some of the things they're just doing just for the hell of it didn't work for me. Like, I'm not a fan of the Kimiko talking thing. I am very much not a fan of that. But
I can see that. I can agree with that.
Otherwise, production wise, looks better than ever. Visual effects, all that stuff. And of course it's The Boys. So there are some really funny, genuinely funny things in here. The Deep is still like his own comedy show. The tanning, all that stuff. They're making fun of real stuff. But yeah, Chase Crawford is really still funny as the Deep. Anthony Starr, of course, is still, you can put him on screen in a cape and he's fine, just carrying all of this stuff. But yeah, it was all right. That's how I felt about it. What about you guys?
Oh my gosh. Kofi, I'm opposite of you. Like, this was my favorite thing I watched this week.
Hey,
Wow.
And I
Wow.
didn't even watch last season because I was over it. I was so sick of it. I didn't like the massive like violence and the just grotesque. I was like, it's getting too much for me. It's kind of like ruining my day when I watch it. So I fell off. And then I knew we were going to cover it. And when I turned it on, I was like, have I just been watching too much Invincible where like this doesn't seem as violent and gory? It's not bothering me as much, or are they just not doing as much gore and violence? I don't know. Either way, it's working for me. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love seeing all these characters. I'm just pumped about this kind of like ending and coming to a close. I still don't even know how Butcher has powers because I didn't watch last season or maybe even the season before. But I don't care. I just jumped on in and I loved it. I just thought it was freaking fabulous. Like, I was ready for the next episode. I was like, man, this is one of those times where I actually wish I could binge.
Man.
Wait, really?
I know. What is wrong
Wow.
with
Yeah, that was a
So
late
much
reaction.
is
We're all just
happening.
sitting here like, Oh, wait, what?
I'm blowing my own mind, honestly.
I do agree with like I am happy that this is the final season. It's very funny. Again, I'm a guy who's read the original comics, and I think that this is kind of one of those rare occasions where I think that the adaptation has just completely blown the source material out of the water. So when I see people like, oh, we'll see how the ending like fares against the comics, and it's like it's a very low bar. I think the way that the comics ended was kind of debatable, but I think like these first two episodes were super cool in terms of a lot of the not just like kind of setting the stage for the final battle, but also the commentary on American society. I think that like I couldn't stop laughing at the dark humor of an American themed concentration camp. I think that like, oh my God, like I was like, this is a little too like having like selling the Vought burgers and stuff like that. And it was just completely ridiculous. But I think like this has also really worked pretty well to show. I think that Anthony Starr continues to be one of the greatest like comic book live action villains of all time. He should, much like Charlie Cox should be thought of as Daredevil, I think like Anthony Starr should really be thought of as Homelander. He is on that. I would put him on the same levels as like Josh Brolin's Thanos and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. I think that he has been like amazing as Homelander. He does such a good job in terms of being able to balance the menacing threat as well as just the ridiculous nature of his character. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't like talk about how the childish giggles I had with Rock Hard. What a horrible what a ridiculous Garth Ennis create. I don't even know if that character was like that. I can't remember if that character was like that in the comics, but I got a laugh out of that. So like, yeah, The Boys, I am happy it is ending, but there's a part of me that also will be sad to say goodbye to it, just because I know it's going to continue over like, I think there's like 3 or 4 spinoffs that they're like, Gen V might come back for a 3rd season, but I know that there's the World War II one, there's the Mexico one, and maybe like one I'm forgetting or something. But yeah, no, I was happy with these first 2 episodes.
Man,
all right,
I
Maddie.
have learned so much. I have learned so
Yeah,
much. Janelle is wanting to binge a show. That is never, I don't think that's ever in the entirety of the show. I don't think that's ever happened. I'm closer to Janelle on this than I am Kofi, because but I 100% agree with you in that, because we talked about it last season. This show really like hit a point where I was very much like, hey, you know what? I could probably skip the second half of the season and be perfectly okay, and then just catch up later on a recap or something. Like, show was not hitting for me. It felt like it was kind of leaning it, almost using the things that kind of made it this like bold, brutal show, and it was just kind of using those as a crutch. And the other stuff, the substance that used to be there, wasn't always there in season 4. And so I was very happy when they announced that season 5 would be its final season, because I was like, hey, perfect time. You can right the ship, get a banger of a last season, and then, you know, call it a day before it becomes this thing of like everyone's just like, nah, we're not messing with it anymore. Because like The Boys is still The Boys. Like you look at reception and things like that, like it's still there, right? It still has that. So I don't want it to lose that and go out where no one cares anymore. I thought the death resonated more for me, I think, was a part of it, because that character, you know, has come a long way from like when we saw that character pop up in the first season.
Great redemption.
And like it's been a journey. Yeah. So like that mattered to me, because it also was like, hey, I mean, we are still taking a big player off the board. And so that's meaningful, right? Again, now if that's the only death we get this season, then it'll be like, okay, well, you still played it too safe or whatever. I think there need to be other deaths. This story and the things kind of calls for it.
Idris Elba and Anthony Starr in a scene together.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I just like, I think this, so like I dug it. Again, I will say it wasn't my favorite thing I watched, only because Daredevil was so good this week, right? It was just, that was such a great episode of that show. I think that was my favorite thing. But like, and I'm kind of prone to Invincible anyway. Like I like Invincible and its storytelling and stuff, but The Boys was right there. Like I still really enjoyed this. So I thought it started out strong. I hope they end it in a strong way, because I did see comments. I forget who said them. But there were comments I saw about like, where like sometimes, you know, your final season is like frames the entire series, you know, and whether it's good or not, it doesn't necessarily, that's not necessarily fair. Because you can have 4 great seasons of a show, then your 5th season, you know, it becomes like that's the only thing that frames the entire series, and that shouldn't be that way. But I do hope they go out with a bang, and I hope they're off to a good start. So I dug it.
Matt, how do you feel about the rumor about who could be playing Beast in the MCU?
Remind me what that rumor is, because I don't think
I haven't heard this. What's the rumor?
According to the Insider, they're eyeing Peter Kaufley, the guy who played the Hedge Knight.
Oh,
to be Beast.
Ooh, that's a good. I will say.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I don't think the live action Beasts have missed yet, really, because like I really enjoyed Nicholas Hoult as Beast. I loved Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be another strong pick. I don't think they've.
And Odessa Zion as Rogue.
That one I saw. Rumor. So now here's the thing.
I gotta look up these.
Odessa is voicing a character in Stranger Things Tales from '85, and I can't really talk about the series yet, but I will say that like, I like that performance is really cool. And so I'm like that. Actually, when I saw that name hit, I was like, oh, that could be interesting. That could be an interesting version of Rogue. Because actually, in polar opposite to what I just said about Beast, I haven't liked the live action. I wasn't a big fan of the live action Rogue. So I would be excited for that.
She was good she was great in Hellraiser. That rebooted Hellraiser movie.
She was good in that. She's also really good in I Love LA, which is like this generation's Girls, or what was the one before Girls? Sex in the City. Yeah, it's kind of that same thing and
vibe.
Yeah, from that Rachel, what's her name? But it was funny, and she's very good in it, playing like a influencer star girl. She's Hilarious. So I would be down with that. And I think she'd pull that off too. All right. Well, that was just some breaking news. We done with the boys.
The boys.
So I woke up in the middle of the night and started watching Thrash. Well, I actually finished Netflix Dark, which was a crazy thing to do in the middle of the night. And yeah, and then I watched Thrash. And once I started this, man, it's so hard to turn it off. Tommy Wirkola is a nutball, man. This guy just takes the craziest nuts two premises and slaps them together and just says, "Hey, let's go for it." He's like, "You know what I want to make?" He's like, "I want to make a hurricane disaster movie and a shark survival movie. Why should I have to choose? And why should you have to choose?" This is B movie at its best. If you don't know, Tommy Wirkola did he's the guy who does all of these cult hit genre mashups. Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters,
I like that movie.
Dead Snow. Which is the other one?
Dead Snow. I like that one.
Yeah, Dead Snow is really good. Dead Snow is a Nazi zombie movie.
Yeah.
What? I haven't seen.
Oh man,
and an Arctic survival. It's an Arctic survival movie, a Nazi movie, and a zombie movie.
Zombie movie. Yep.
What? Okay. All right.
Yeah, Tommy. Like I said, Tommy Wirkola does he's a Norwegian filmmaker, and he does all of these crazy genre. Oh, he did Violent Night, the David Harbour.
Oh, okay.
Santa Claus
awesome.
action.
Yeah, okay.
Die Hard with Santa Claus action flick, Violent Night. So this is his whole kind of bag, right? But Thrash, as we said, is a story. It's Phoebe Diviner, for whatever her name is, from Bridgerton. And it's about a town in Florida that gets flooded by a hurricane, but through these ridiculous circumstances, like a meat truck.
I thought that was ingenious.
Crashes into the middle of town and basically lures in all these migrating sharks to this center of the town, where Phoebe's character is pregnant and trapped in her Mini Cooper outside. And this other young girl who is agoraphobic has to try to help her get out of this. And so there is everything in this movie. There's shark attacks, baby births in the middle of disasters, like savage mom, instincts, all this stuff, getting over phobias. But it's compelling. I could not go to bed because it is good. It's thrilling. And there are just sequences that had me because I don't like water. I don't like being trapped. And there's a whole lot of flood, water rising. We're getting a less and less space type stuff in here. Yeah, there's a scene.
Man, for someone that doesn't like water, this thing is in the entirety of this.
Oh yeah, this movie is filming. This must have been crazy, because they're in water the entire time. Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty good B movie. This is some B movie goodness right here. So I enjoyed Thrash. It was. People have been like, "Oh, it's that other movie with the alligators that Alexandre Aja did." I forget what that is.
Oh, Crawl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I would actually put this over Crawl. Yeah, I dug Crawl too, but this was very well done because this is
Crawl.
Oh, I like this Crawl too, but I like this more as a B movie. I'm gonna watch this more times because it's not just the two girls. It's several other set pieces and characters who are trying to deal with these things, and it's funny. One is a bunch of foster kids who are owned by these two rednecks. And they're bad foster parents, but they all get flooded in with a bunch of bull sharks. And so that whole thing is kind of crazy and hilarious. But yeah, this was a good time. It kept me up in the middle of the night. I dug it. It's out on Netflix now. It's Thrash. And yeah, this is the kind of Tommy Wirkola basically makes sci-fi movies that are upscaled from being a sci-fi movie. This is about Sharknado just in a classier way, right? Yeah, so check that out. Also, if you're looking on streaming, I put this in the comic book forum, and I'm standing on this, but I turned on finally Primitive War, the kind of indie movie, B movie about a group of Vietnam soldiers who go on a mission in the jungle and end up facing packs of dinosaurs. I got to say, guys, I'm digging this more than I like Jurassic World Rebirth, and I like Jurassic World Rebirth. I didn't even hate that movie, but Primitive War is not bad. Primitive War is okay. It's a bunch of people you saw on HBO in the 2010s. It's like Ryan Catan or whatever his name is from True Blood. Jeremy Piven from Entourage, like some other people, the black dude from Dusk Till Dawn, who was the big dude in the bar fighting. He's in it.
I like that dude.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other people in it. I'm not beating the allegations, by the way. I just heard myself. Anyway, so it is a good movie. It's B movie. The dinosaur effects, the CGI effects are kind of like rudimentary and good, but it is really compelling about this group of soldiers who are just trying to and it's about Vietnam and just thrown into this mission. They're just like, what the hell is this? And trying to get out of it again. So yeah, that was also on that's on Hulu. So you can check out Primitive War. And if you want to take me up on my offer, I suggest you do a little dino double feature. Watch Primitive War and watch Jurassic World Rebirth and see which one you like more.
Man, I dug Rebirth too. So I'm already in because it's dinosaurs. I will say, while we're speaking on the dinosaur subject, I went down. Most people who I've talked with about like monster movies and stuff know how much I love Cloverfield. And when after the end of Oak Street trailer hit with its dinosaur premise of the entire neighborhood getting whatever, I went down that Reddit rabbit hole of like, here's the ties, here's the connections to Cloverfield. And I actually ended up convincing myself that maybe that's true. I hate that stuff because like it just leads to disappointment 85% of the time. So I typically don't give it any mind. But between all the comments and the little like with that Charlie Day meme where he's like pointing to the thing with all the things, it was that I was like, oh my gosh, that's a really good point. And oh my gosh, that's right. They did mention a neighborhood just vanished in Cloverfield, and it was an aside, and J.J. Abrams was doing it. I sold myself so hard on that, so I will probably be disappointed when it's not.
Wait, Matt, what's the movie you're referencing?
The end of Oak Street, which is the trailer. It ties in because it's dinosaurs. Like the premise is like an entire neighborhood gets moved to the prehistoric era, and so there's dinosaurs there. But like I thought it's got Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, and I was like, okay, this looks awesome anyway as a trailer. But then I went and found out people were like, oh, hey, because J.J. Abrams is at the helm, right? So I was like, oh, but like, here's the thing, it's related to this. And there were so many, like typically there's like one and it's very thin and it's like whatever. But there was like a bunch and people were like making really good very salient points in these theories. And normally that's not the case. So I kind of sold myself. I'm preparing that this is Mephisto all over again, and I'll probably be disappointed in whatever.
He did eventually appear, though.
Anyway, he did appear, not in the season and not remotely anywhere close to what people said. But like, it could be. So who knows? So what this is all saying is that dinosaurs are cool, and you should go watch more dinosaurs. There you go. I've honed in there, but I just wanted to mention it because I heard dinosaurs. I like Jurassic World Rebirth. I feel like I've heard a lot of discourse this week about like how crappy that movie was, and I don't understand it. I dug that movie.
No new Mephisto till you eat the Mephisto you already have at home. All right, let's talk about some other freaky devil people.
Ooh.
There's so many jokes here. I'm letting all these jokes pass. Comics. Take it away, Matt.
Yo, we're going to be talking about The Fury of Firestorm #1. This is one of the new additions to DC's Next Level, essentially their next round of all-in books. And I've always liked Firestorm from like afar. Like I like Firestorm when he shows up in books. I've never been like the biggest Firestorm guy, but I always thought like having the dual personalities mashed together, sharing the same body of a superhero was always interesting, right? They're always kind of fighting for control and bickering most of the time. I thought that was a really cool concept. So then imagine my surprise when I come into this book and this book is like, hey, by the way, a Firestorm's a monster. Oh my gosh, he's awful. Just like just killing people and remaking the world. It was very like Dr. Manhattan-esque stuff there at the beginning, and I thought, okay, this is weird.
See, now you're just stealing or you're getting to it early. That was my point. I was like, what in the doomsday clock is this going to be?
This very doomsday clock.
No, what in the doomsday clock is this going to turn out to be? Like,
but
is this going to turn out to be like, we'll
as a doomsday clock, though, which I didn't feel stuck the landing there. I think they could really do something cool here, because by the end of the issue, you understand the premise. Like, you understand where things are, right? As far as like what's happening to like Ronnie Raymond, where's the doctor, where's the professor, and just that alone was really interesting, especially like evidently like professor's going through it, like something's really
he's going through it
here, right? And he's not going through it. He's worried he's going to show up in the lists, and he's trying to cover the evidence.
he's at, like, there's a lot happening there, and then also this dark presence, and what that means for the character and Lorraine's role in this. I thought there was so much going on that, like, by the end of this, I was like, okay, I need to read. I'm in. Like, I need to read another issue. I was surprising to me for a Firestorm book, because that's not normally my bag, right? So I thought this came out swinging, and I thought it did some cool stuff. But that's me. Maybe I'm off base. What did you guys think?
I dug this. I kind of got outside of like the doomsday clock feel, which is certainly there. You know, I felt like this book was kind of like Immortal Hulk in terms of taking an established hero and adding a very horror theme to it, which I think works really well. I'm a lot like you, Matt. Like, yeah, Firestorm is there for me. It's not like I mean, really, like, it's just kind of like, you know, they do interesting things with, or Firestorm is kind of one of those characters where he's kind of on the periphery of the DC universe.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, they can change a lot about him. You know, he's had different hosts, he's had different looks, he's like, you know, all these things. He's not someone like Superman or Batman where you can make these where you can't make these giant changes to the character. And I think like the way that they did this, like the one of the things I noticed that really stuck out to me was them referring to him in the narration as the Nuclear Man, which is, you know,
I loved that, by the way, because that is such a great nickname that doesn't get used enough. And I was like,
because it's like, you know, it adds an air of horror to the character, which is like the idea of like the nuclear age and all this other stuff. But yeah, even like there's a lot about Firestorm that's very scary in terms of like how his powers work, what he can do. He is one of the most powerful heroes in the DCU. That's kind of one of those things like Plastic Man where it gets overlooked a lot.
I love Plastic
Man.
Man.
Like, yeah, I thought this was a really interesting, as someone who probably would not have read this if we like didn't have, you know, thank you, Matt, for recommending it, because it is kind of a really cool issue that would have kind of not been on my radar. But like, I thought this did a really good job of like setting, like, this is a very different take on the character, and I'm glad that they're doing something different with him in that same vein as like Doomsday Clock, Immortal Hulk, stuff like that.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this was like David Cronenberg's Firestorm, and I think part of this is DC saying you guys got to put more respect on Firestorm's name. I think there's a fair amount of people who still think Firestorm is a fire-based superhero,
right?
And not like, do not raise their hand. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
I mean, look, no one would fault you. It's in his name.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's also in his name, and his head is on fire.
You're good, you know?
Yeah, and so they don't actually know, and I think that's the thing with Firestorm, and I think because it's one of those powers that like are just so comic booky and from the Silver Age that nobody wants to write this. Like, nobody wants to sit down and write molecular science in their comic book kind of thing. It's a tough thing to do.
Jeff Lemire.
Right. And so, I mean, but Jeff Lemire is the science guy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's Jeff Lumai, the science guy, like, of comics right now. That's why Absolute Flash is such about like metaphysics and time and speed theory and all this stuff, which I dig to a certain extent. But this is much more just being like for the first time making you see Firestorm's powers and be like, oh yeah, that is terrifying. Like, he is, I think at some point they say he is like, don't let the goofiness fool you. Like, he is an Omega level metahuman or something like that.
Yeah, the puffy shoulders. That's a great line.
And it's just like, and you realize in this book, like, yes, he is. And I think it takes somebody like Jeff Lemire to do the simple but effective tweak of being like, no, guys, there's 3 personalities in here. There's 2 humans, and then there's this other thing that we just call the Firestorm Matrix. And what has that meant all this time? Like, we just say it like it's a thing. And then you saw the last page. They had a little Easter egg on Stein's notes going into the fire, which is, apparently he's always known that this thing is probably alive. And so, and sentient at least. And so that begins to change a lot. And, that's interesting to me on a character level, because it's this idea now of you're getting into these more espionage things, like the government, this experiment. Stein knows he's with Ronnie. They have this supposed intimacy of sharing one body, but he's keeping these secrets from him. The secret is like, this dangerous thing has been hanging out, Ronnie with this dangerous entity this whole time, and Firestorm could become is going on his full parallax. So the character drama of that is interesting. And having this, like I said, kind of Scarlet Witch, WandaVision type thing happening is also an interesting premise for a hero who may not end up in a very heroic place. But yeah, so the fact that this is happening in the internal character drama, I was on board. This is where I like to see like somebody like Jeff Lemire kind of working. So yeah, and those first pages are nuts.
Man, talk about like I bounced off Flash a little bit, right? For that reason, it was too much for me in that respect, and this one has hit the right notes. Janelle, I think this is your first real exposure to a Firestorm story, at all. I don't think we've ever covered
other than
Firestorm.
the CW show. I mean,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Which I love that Firestorm, but I loved the Arrowverse. So, obviously it's a different vibe completely. This is not wholesome at all. And I didn't know Nuclear Man was Firestorm in this. I was like, at the beginning, I was like, oh, it's a different person. And then Firestorm is going to come save the day. And then it just came together really beautifully. And the story was super intriguing all the way through it. There was nothing was too wordy. And I know there wasn't like a ton of big action, but I didn't need it. This was spectacular, dude. I loved this. And I am so excited to know that Firestorm is capable of this amount of power, because I, again, had no idea. So yeah, I'm sold. Like, please let us keep doing. I want to keep reading this. I want to see where it's going.
Same.
What is his girlfriend's name? I forget her.
Lorraine, but she's also Firehawk.
Firehawk. Yo, Firehawk is a vibe. I love her too. Like, I love her in her, outfit. And yeah, I also just love her attitude. She's like really in the middle of the night. Like, I loved her. So
yeah, very that artwork too, from those first few pages and all throughout, stunning.
Yeah.
Let's move to another book that we have been keeping on because number one, I'll just say I'm biased. I've loved it. But also I know everyone else has enjoyed it. So I'm like, hey, we haven't been able to really stick with a series in a minute. So Iron Man number 4 comes up. And one of the things that this book has done a great job at is expanding Tony's supporting cast, but also honing in on the supporting cast that was there and maybe not getting enough shine, overlooked, or just kind of relegated to the background, and they're getting their own stories, and you're really getting a sense of Iron Man's world in this book. But here we get to see like the whole premise of this book, right, was that all of these great minds that were kind of competing to be the next Tony Starks were all captured by Madame Mask. And here we get to see, like, it's a really cool thing. We essentially just get to see Tony working with all of these people through various means, and this kind of big team up escape book is what this issue kind of becomes. I really dug that. I feel like in 4 issues, the fact that they've established some of these people already to the point where I care, I'm invested about them, I care about what happens to them, is impressive. Carmen Carnero is doing some amazing. I love anytime Iron Man armor shows up in any capacity. It looks amazing. So I'm digging that, but I'm just really liking how they're expanding Tony's world, and more as the series goes on. Like I was never the biggest Tony Stark fan. I was never the biggest Tony Stark fan before Civil War, and then Civil War just really hamstrung that. But then I've come around over the years, right? But it's like books like these continue to kind of appeal to me and bring more of that character rich side out, and I dig it. You know, plus you get a random Spider-Man appearance, and that's always fun, and it's great. So yeah, I dig this. Janelle, we've been following this since the beginning, essentially. So I mean, are you still digging this? Is it losing steam? What do you think?
Oh yeah, this is great. I've been having a really good time with this, and I feel like it's been paying off because I know certain characters, and obviously I'm learning new characters, like this masked chick. I didn't know who she was. I love that they have a little interaction there, like they have a history, and I'm learning about that. I'm okay as long as it's like there's enough action, enough story, and easy enough to follow. I really just enjoy reading comics, generally speaking, and playing catch up to like know these characters is sometimes difficult. And in this one, it hasn't been difficult to play catch up, to like understand who these characters are, or like who they have been, or their possible past relationships or interactions a little bit. And so that is always good for me. Like I'm not like obsessed with this, but I like it. It was good.
I mean, look, who knew Fixer was going to be in the spotlight for so much this series? People coming around to Fixer and Firestorm in the same week. That's crazy.
Love it, man. I'm becoming an expert.
This is a great book for Thunderbolts fans, OG Thunderbolts fans. I think they're bringing back I was like, man, Citizen V.
This was all some 90s stuff. Joshua Williamson he really loved that 90s childhood, man. I was like, Citizen V, you guys? I was like, man, the Fixer, Citizen V, you guys are wild. When Songbird shows up, I'm gonna be like, oh boy.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Songbird shows up. But yeah, so are you guys still digging it?
It is. I mean, Williamson's very good, and like he gets like this kind of James Bond, Ethan Hunt type vibe to marry to Tony Stark Iron Man stuff, the espionage kind of it all, which is where I think Iron Man got in the 70s and early 80s with like Armor Wars and stuff like that. But I think that's Tony's best vibe, is when Tony's doing some James Bondish, Ethan Hunt type stuff, where it's like this shadowy world of business people, arms dealers, terrorists, spies, all that kind of stuff, and Iron Man and techno oligarchs, all that stuff. So I think that's the best fit for Iron Man, and I think Williamson gets that, and each of these issues feels like that. And he's done the thing he always does well, which is expand the world so that you understand like what the sandbox of Iron Man's, play area is, and the people who are involved. So we have Madam Mask being a central character, Fixer now having his own arc. These are people who don't really get much shine anywhere else as major characters. So building a sandbox around Iron Man and being like, here are the people he mainly comes in contact with. Here are the people he deals with, the types he kind of runs into, AIM, SHIELD, all these other groups. Like, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's what he did with Superman.
Yep.
And he's doing the same thing for Iron Man, and it's fantastic. Before Janelle has to skedaddle, I want to make sure we talk about, because I totally forgot to put it in the rundown last week. Captain Marvel Dark Past, number 1 is Captain Marvel's. It's been a minute since I've actually had a solo Captain Marvel series. She's been in the Avengers books with that team. And then there was a previous solo series, but it was very different and dealing with kind of the realms of magic and stuff like that before. So here, this feels like a step kind of right back into kind of all of the stuff that makes Carol tick. It's very much related to her family and her past and the memory stuff. But again, we're dealing with the memory stuff in a different way. It's not just like, oh, Rogue took this from me, because we already resolved that in the previous Captain Marvel series with Rogue. We're finding new ways to approach that and also add to Carol as a person, because that's always been one of my kind of gripes with the MCU adaptations, is sometimes they lose that. And so I really dug this issue. I really thought Paul Jenkins did a great job of kind of mining that stuff and giving us some new things to work with. Also, ironically, this was a Iron Man centric issue, because Iron Man's all in this book. I do love that we hit all the greatest hits, right? Because we got Iron Man, and they've done so much work since Civil War 2 and that trash heap to restore that relationship, because that was terrible. That was an Iron Man rehabilitation project, and that sucked. And so I love how they've restored that relationship. And then also we get like Jessica Drew and all that stuff. I thought this was a nice back to basics Captain Marvel thing. Janelle, how did you feel?
Yeah, this was just great. This is the type of book, like I said, that isn't overwhelming. There's not too much dialogue. There's not too much action. It's just enough of everything. There's just enough story and context for me to follow and understand. I love the relationship with Tony. I love the relationship with Jessica. I love that they're hitting on like trauma, and yeah, I think it's really powerful, and it's subtle at the same time. And I do agree with you, man. I love Captain Marvel because of the books, because I've been reading and really getting to know her. So yeah, this is a great start. I agree.
Hearing stuff like that just makes my heart happy.
Yay!
Also, Lucas Wernick and Rod Fernandez, the artwork is beautiful in this series. Just knocked that out of the park. So yeah, that was comics. Before we move into the agenda, Janelle, you need the bounce, or are you good, or what you got?
I'm hanging with y'all today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. So today, and this actually started at 1 p.m. Eastern in North America yesterday. But right now you can head over to PlayStation and Xbox and download the Invincible Versus beta. It's an open beta. You don't have to pre-order or anything. You just go and download the client and you can jump in. It is live now. I've been jumping into some matches and things. Actually, for a beta, there's a ton here. You actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters complete. You get the full tutorial mode. You can actually train. There's a whole, like, the training mode is applicable there. You can have any of the characters there if you want. You can do ranked matches. You can also start the story mode, which is like their campaign mode. That's pretty impressive for an open beta, especially so close to release, because this releases at the end of the month. This is obviously the Invincible World Universe fighting game. It's a 3-on-3, so you'll pick your teams, and a lot, a la Marvel versus Capcom and so many others. You can tag in your people. You can have them assist. You can just, have them like replace your current fighter with one of the others you picked, but you can also have them attack in various ways. I got some time in, but I'm curious, like, did you guys get a chance to jump in, and what did you think?
I have not gotten a chance to jump in yet, so I'll let Evan take it away.
Yeah, I got the chance to, this reminded me. So, like, I'm not a huge fighting game guy. There have been, like I cannot pull off the combos to save my life. I know people can do that, like it's their secondhand nature, and I'm really trying to teach myself how to do that. Maybe for Invincible, I'll be able to do that. But what this game kind of reminded me of was Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is a fighting game created by Arc System Works. And it really both stayed true to the source material while having like fast, frantic, fights in them. And this kind of reminded me of that. I think like this really nailed like the character designs as well as their individual fighting styles. I think that it's very funny that one of the biggest complaints that a lot of people had when they saw this originally was that, like, oh great, there's 18 Supermen, and you just have to figure out, like, because a lot of the powers are from people like Mark and Nolan and a couple of the Viltrumites and even Alan, they all have powers that's like they fly, they have super speed, they have super strength. And then you throw in like individuals like Adam Eve and Battle Beast and their powers. And Cecil, I think Cecil's like the way that they integrated him with his different like power set in terms of the teleportation and the stuff like that is really interesting to me. The graphics look amazing. I think like the cell shading and everything looks really good for this. I just like how big and like how hard the hits feel, as well as like how cool the backgrounds look and everything. This one was surprising to me because like I felt like when this was announced, this would be something of like a cash grab in terms of like, oh well, it'll have like a standard, a very mechanical fighting system, but it like the mechanics are there. And a lot of the graphical stuff, I think like this was very surprising to me. I might wait for a sale for this one to like pick it up. I have so much in my backlog, guys. You have no idea. But like I am happy with what I've seen so far, and yeah, I'm willing to give this a shot. I think like this is kind of the perfect way to do it in terms of, Matt, you mentioned it, but like the open beta, there's so much in this beta that you can just like try out and everything, I think, which is a really good way to kind of introduce, it worked for me. So like, I think that this is a good way to introduce people to it.
And it showcases confidence, right? I mean, this is not the day one reviews where they go live after the thing is released and stuff. It's like,
hey, I know they got the goods.
Yeah, you put that first. I will say, so after some time, one of the things that stuck out, if you do the tutorial, there are a lot of mechanics in this game. There are a lot of like layered fighting game things. I'm a bigger fighting game guy. So like you typically go through a tutorial and you kind of get the basics, and then you'll get the kind of advanced things right. But just in the kind of first tier, there is so much that, I mean, there's breakers. There's a way to there's like 3 different ways you can actually tag your assists in and have them affect the fight, right? So you can actually be punching and kicking and have them do a quick tag where they come in and they just add to your attack. They're actually giving you bonus attack and they're attacking as well. Then there's you have them attack for you to gain space, right? So like you can have them attack forward, you can have them attack in different ways to like either push the opponent or keep the opponent, like halt the opponent's move towards you. It buys you time to change space. Then there's you can tag them in completely and you just become that character. But there's also ways to tag them in where they actually break a combo. There's ways to have them tag it. Like there's like 4 different ways that you can have your teammates affect the fight without actually just stepping into that role. That's pretty impressive. Same goes for like the verticality of this game. Everybody's got like this double jump, but you can also then do another jump in the air. There's also dashes, and you can do dashes in midair as well as on the ground. So the vertical space in this is impressive because it gives you other ways to manipulate the fight where you're actually not throwing a punch. The way supers, everyone has 2 supers and 1 ultimate. The supers and the ultimate are incredibly easy to pull off. There's no complicated combos that you have to master there. It's literally just hold down 3 buttons for the ultimate, and then direction, and hold down 2 buttons for each super. And like there's one going back and then there's one forward. And the supers have like cool animations with them. But then also the ultimate's like this big thing, right? Like Alan's is great. And it's like some of I was impressed by some of the scale, right? But then like a lot of these attacks don't necessarily have like the grandiose thing of like, if you've played Injustice and you see some of those ultimates where literally like Superman is going to space and like doing all kinds of crazy. It's not that big, but it's still big. And also they're very brutal. They're not as brutal as necessarily like Mortal Kombat. So it walks a line, right? But then also like there's boosted attacks. The combos in this game, you can mix and match combos, but there's nothing like, to me, like super overcomplicated. Like you can actually get a combo into your super just from hitting square. You hit square 5 times and you will hit a 4-string combo, and then also get your super launched off, and you can do all that with one button. Like they walk a nice line, but you can also continue to hit somebody and keep them and juggle them and keep them from hitting the ground. You can do that. So like they walk a fine line. Rexplode is super fun. I'm sorry, he's probably going to be one of my favorite characters right off the bat. I really liked Battle Beast. I liked Adam Eve because her power set's so different. Alan's super fun, just kind of melee guy. Invincible's fun. So there's a lot of stuff. I haven't had a chance to dive in with like everybody's, like Monster Girl, Robot. I haven't had a chance to jump in with them. But the free beta, the open beta, runs till the 11th. So you still got time. You can jump on in. You got till tomorrow. And I think this releases on like the 28th. So good things. I liked this more than I liked Marvel Tokon in that beta. I came away with that not as impressed as I wanted to be. And I didn't really just like the fighting itself. This I did also. Oh, by the way, you can also do like level transitions. You can knock someone into a whole other part of like the level or a different space and all that. You can still do all that too. It's crazy. There's a lot buried in here. All right. The other thing I wanted to touch on here is that there will probably be a video hitting at some point in time of me wearing these on Comic Books socials and YouTube maybe. So I'm very excited for that. So keep an eye out for that. But I had a chance to get Marvel Legends Hulk hands.
Like, what is that?
I had a chance to get Hulk hands. Yo,
I like you had a dog.
I was like, what?
It does, look. So like you've got all kinds of voices. They've done a couple of versions of these at this point. We had Thing hands, we had Red Hulk hands, we had the original green hands.
I still have my Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Yeah, they do a really good job. Like there's over 13 sounds here. You get all your big Hulk growls and all that stuff. You can do your Hulk smash things. My daughter stole these quickly from me and was going around the house hitting walls. It's dope. So yeah, very much. This is out now, but I've got a whole video you can see on Comic Books things. I will say the siren sound lasts a little too. If I could critique something, I will just say that siren sound is like, I would have given we'll swap that out for just something else. That's the parent in me who has to hear these sounds on all throughout the day when like Ember's stealing my stuff and hitting things with it. But like super cool. Dig these, super fun. They are out now, actually. So you can find the VFX Hulk hands from Marvel Legends on toy shelves now. So that is my agenda.
All right, and that'll do it for the show this week. We want to thank everybody who jumped into the live chat. Thank you for being here every week, all of our dedicated regulars. We want to thank everybody who's downloading and listening at home. Be sure to go back and listen to past episodes. We got 8 seasons of Comic Book Nation covering some of the biggest milestone points in entertainment. So even if you're not listening to new episodes, if you know a subject, we covered it. Go back and listen to an old episode. Some of them are truly hilarious. With us talking about some of this stuff and how it's aged. So we're on all your favorite DSPs. You can watch us live on video or just in audio form. And if you want to talk to us, you can read our work on Comicbook.com and then hop over to the Comic Book Forum that's attached to the site where all kinds of good geek discussions continue beyond the articles or the show movie releases. So check all of that out. And in the meantime, we will be back with you next week with another episode of Comic Book Nation, with more content to talk. Obviously, Geek TV is going to be going strong for the next few weeks. We will be having no less than 4 of these shows to deal with every week.
Crazy.
At least the next 2 weeks. So strap in. There's going to be a lot to talk about. All right, I'm out of here. It's a nice day. I'm going to touch some grass. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to do some work in reverse order. Peace.
See ya.